Hi, it's Marissa from Tarts&Crafts. Today we're making paper flowers and leaves. I love this project because those flowers are so versatile. And all we need is some paper, scissors, that little pearl I used for the middle of the flower, and some glue. Now let's get started. First, we'll make the petals. I like to start by creating a shape that looks like a tooth, and you can make lots of different shapes for the petals, but this one is my favorite. I make the petal about half the width of what I want my flower to be. Cut that out, and then it becomes a stencil. I'm gonna make at least 6 petals, well, at least 5, and I usually make 6 just in case we need an extra one. Now I'm gonna use the first petal that I cut to just make sure that I've got a new petal that's a little bit shorter. I want to make sure that we can see the darker color petal behind it. So here I just make it a little shorter and then fold this one in half because now I can cut 2 at a time and I won't have as much cutting to do. So this is such a fun project because you can make these flowers as big as you want or as small as you want. I've made them about 1 inch wide. I've made them as big as your head. They become just a really great decoration to have around and perfect for spring. I was going for an ombre effect with this flower, but I didn't have another lighter pink, so I went with cream. This smaller inner petal just allows you to see all of the colors. Each size of this petal gets consecutively smaller. So we've got a really cool overlap effect that we're going to show you later. Now we just take the green paper and we're going to create the leaves. Here I create a sort of a branch that bends to give you a wistful look. Then I make sure that the inside is thick enough so that way I don't cut right into the paper and I don't have the branch anymore. And now I'm ready to cut out my shape. Have fun with it. You can create your own shapes of leaves. This one I really like. Just take my time and cut as neatly as I can. And here we've got 2 pieces. Now I'm gonna make the base for the flower. I make a semicircle, cut it, and there you've got your base. But if the bottom of the flower is going to be seen, you can go ahead and fold it in half and then fold it in half again. Then you cut the edges to a point, as you can see. Just cut those little ends off. And then when you unfold it, you have something that looks pretty natural. And now I'm going to use that as my base for the flower. Now, before we get started, we cut each petal to a little bit more than halfway. And now we bring it to life by rolling the pencil behind it, on either side, across the top, and at the tips of those 2 edges of the petal. We'll do that for each petal. And it really causes that flower to come to life. That paper now looks like a flower petal. It's my favorite part of this project. Now we just put a dab of that fast-drying tacky glue, hold it in place for a few seconds to let it set. And now we're ready to glue it to the base. Add some glue to the base and then a dab of glue on the side of each petal so that we can begin to overlap them. As you can see, it's starting to feel like a flower now. On that last one, I put it over the left side petal and under the petal on the right side. It gives it a more finished look. Now once that's all set, we can move to the second layer of petals. Once again, we cut it a little bit more than halfway through. And now we're going to give it that 3D effect by rolling the pencil on the sides, on the top, and then right at the tip of either side of the petal. I've done different shapes of petals. This one is my favorite, but you can do one that's just more rounded. And you'll still curl the edges back with the pencil, But then you'll have a flower that looks like a daisy, or a flower that looks like, in this case, it's a little bit more like a rose. You could make them all one color, or this ombre effect like I've done. And I would just put a dab on each petal, go around, and again, that last petal, it goes over the one on the left and under the one on the right. Now we let that set. Our last set of petals, cut a little more than halfway through, round them out with the pencil. When the petals get smaller like this, the pencil is not quite as effective, so I use the pencil, but then I also use my fingers to just curl it a little extra. Dab of glue. Now we're ready to glue it right into the middle. One day I plan to cover my entire wall with these flowers. I'll make them as big as my head. Probably bigger. Now we're ready for the pearl that goes in the middle. Other people have done lots of different things like fringes. I've seen lots of different things for the middle, but I love the simplicity of just a simple pearl or just some old jewelry that you can upcycle. A pearl, a bead. And now I just fold each leaf down the middle and then open it out just a touch, and it gives the leaf a 3D effect. Now we're ready to glue it on. I would do that for the second leaf, but it was time for dinner, so I'll just stick it behind there and work on that later. So this is the final flower. I love this flower because it's so versatile. I've used it on this lantern. I've used it on this frame. This is part of my vision board. There's a little daisy flower in the corner and some leaves. And here's the vision board. You can see a lot of paper flowers on it. And I hope you get to make some of your own.